Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Dustin Kreis, and this is part 2 of my top games of 2013 list. And this one is where we start getting into the difficult stuff, because we're starting to get into the really good games. And there are two in particular on here, and I'll point them out as I bring them up, that I have not finished yet. And one, I'm not very far in, but it could change the list a little bit, but not very much, I don't think. Especially in the case, well, in the case of both of them, I think where I have them on the list is where they would end up anyway. But yeah, we're starting to get into those really, the good ones. And then, of course, the final five. I've been going over the final five the entire year, trying to figure out, is this really where this should be? And I'm pretty much set on them now. So, we'll get right into it, and once again, we'll talk about a downloadable game. And this game came out almost a year ago. And it's pretty crazy that it maintained its spot in sort of the middle of the list, because I figured it would have got knocked down quite a bit. But when I sit back and think about it, I had a really awesome time with this game, and that is Unchained Blades on the 3DS and on the was it PSP? Yeah, it was PSP. And although I think you can download it on your Vita if you wanted to. First-person dungeon crawler brought over to us here by Xseed, and I just had an awesome time with it. I really liked the characters. The kind of the repetition of the dungeons a little bit. I mean, you would do a dungeon, and then you would go back to it in a later chapter and explore a different part of it. That got a little bit of annoying towards the end, but for $30, I got a 60-hour RPG on the 3DS, and I couldn't put the thing down. I had just an amazing time with it. The graphics are pretty much what you expect from a first-person dungeon crawler, but I really love the battle system and how the battles... you could bring up, when you go into the battle, it's a first-person turn-based battle system, and you're looking at the enemies like you did in old-school Dragon Warrior games. But on the side, there'll be these little arrows, and you can scroll over to another screen of enemies. So you could face up to, I think, 3 different screens of enemies at the same time. And it really just made the battles kind of frantic, and as you leveled your characters up, they got really powerful, and it just felt really good to sort of stomp through these dungeons. So, Unchained Blades, if you haven't checked it out yet, I think it did receive a price drop on both the eShop and PSN, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. The next game is also brought to us by Xseed. You're probably noticing there's quite a few Xseed games on this list, and that's because Xseed is one of my favorite publishers over here in the States. And whenever they bring something out, I at least give it a very serious consideration. And sometimes I don't pick up games by them. I didn't pick up Rune Factory 4. I might pick it up later, but I haven't picked that up yet. But if it has the Xseed brand on it, I at least give it some serious consideration. And one of those was Killer is Dead. And this game, like Senran Kagura Burst, it kind of got a lot of controversy over its gigolo missions, which is a completely stupid thing. Because they're so innocuous that I don't know why people are making such a big deal about them. But a really fun hack and slash action game that I think flew under a lot of people's radars, because it's just one of those games that it's not going to get like the push that Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to get, But another sort of crazy Japanese... There's debate on whether Suda51 really was involved in this as deep as people say, or whether he was just kind of a producer of it. I don't know the exact story, but Grasshopper Manufacturer, they're really becoming sort of an indie hit. People, there's a cult out there that kind of follows their games, and this is another great one to add to your collection. It's got some rough edges like most of these Grasshopper games do, but at the same time I really had a fun time with it. I love the wackiness of it, just sort of the overtopness of it. So yeah, if you haven't checked this out yet, definitely give it a go. Killer is Dead. And then here we go with one game that a lot of people are going to be like, why is this so low on the list? One, it's because I haven't got very far into it. Two, I have an extreme fatigue with this franchise, to the point where I don't think I even bought one. I think this is the first game in this series that I bought this generation, period. I can't remember the last time I bought a game in this series, to be honest with you. And that game is Super Mario 3D World. Now, like I said, I'm not very far into this, but I don't know. Everybody seems to be talking about it, and it's rekindling their childhood memories of Mario and stuff like that. It's just not doing it for me. I need to give it more time, obviously. But, I don't know. I think Mario just might be one of those series that I can let go of. And who knows, maybe they'll make Galaxy 3 for the Wii U, and it'll be amazing, and I'll get back into it. But this is probably a lot closer to what I want from a Mario game than those new Super Mario Brothers games. I absolutely despise those games. I can't stand them. Mainly because they just seem to bring them out every 3 weeks. But this is a great game, and it does a lot of new things. Maybe not totally new, because I didn't buy 3D Land. I don't have that one at all. So for me, this is all new. But if you liked 3D Land, I guess you'll really love this one. The cat suit is kind of gimmicky, I think. Whatever. It's whatever, But yeah, I just need to give it more time. But as it stands, it's right here on the list. And to be honest with you, I don't know if it would climb any higher, because I'm at just such a fatigue point with Mario games that when I see Mario, I just kind of cringe a little bit, because he's just everywhere. And I feel like Nintendo is really letting other franchises sort of wither because, well, Mario games sell, let's just make another one of those, instead of trying to push other brands and trying to expand other brands. It's just Mario, 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 Zelda. Mario, 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 Zelda. It just seems like we get like 5 Mario games for every Legend of Zelda and about 50 Mario games for every Metroid game. So, I don't know. It's just me, I guess. But Super Mario 3D World, that's where it stands. Is there any... No, I think everything... If you know me anyway, the things that come ahead of Mario, you'll understand why it's kind of low on the list. The next game was a complete surprise. I was not expecting to enjoy this game as much as I did. And for a long time, it was really close to the top. But then things just kept coming out, and it got pushed further and further down. And that is Tomb Raider. And I got the 360 version. And I think that this is... Well, no, there's some other 360 games that came before it. But as you notice, I don't have a lot of 360 games because I kind of stopped buying for the 360. I don't know what it was. I got my PS3 and just started buying games on that because I didn't have very many PS3 games. But for some reason, I think it's because GameStop was out of the PS3 versions. I got the 360 version. And I absolutely love this game. I thought it was great. I hadn't played Uncharted 2 yet. But it does kind of crib a lot from the Uncharted series. But then again, Uncharted kind of cribbed a lot from the original Tomb Raider games on the PS1. So it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. You don't really know which came first. But, it's been so long since I've played this, but I just really remember liking Lara Croft for the first time. And I was never a big fan of the series before because it just seemed... I don't know why it didn't click with me. But this game really makes Lara feel like a real person and a character that you can kind of care about. And I don't know. I don't know where they're going to take the series from here. It's kind of one of those things where it's kind of almost like the new Star Trek movies. Like the first Star Trek movie in 2009 was such a breath of fresh air from a kind of a stale series. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, by the way, and I'll admit that Star Trek got fucking stale. Huge breath of fresh air. And then when the sequel came out, it didn't have that same sense of, that same wow factor, because you were already used to the new world. So when a Tomb Raider 2 or whatever they call it next comes out, I don't think it'll have the same wow factor as this game did. Um, but I'm still really looking forward to it. And I don't know. There's something about the stealthiness of this game that I really enjoyed. Whereas I felt like in Uncharted, because I played Uncharted 2 after this, I feel like it's just sort of more of a run and gun type thing. Where this, you kind of had to plan your attacks a little bit more strategic. And I like that. So, Tomb Raider. I don't even know what number it is on the list. I keep losing track of what number is what. I should have put like little post-its on here or something. The next game was a game that I was actually really looking forward to. And it didn't let me down. It's just that there's other games that are better. But I had a blast with it and thoroughly enjoyed it. And that is Tales of Xillia on the PS3. And I got the big box set edition and with the Mila figure. And I'm really looking forward to Tales of Xillia 2. Although, I'm not quite sure how closely the stories connect. I think they do, but you got kind of a whole new team of people. So it's going to be interesting to see how that connects to the first game. But I thoroughly enjoyed this game, and it's probably got a couple of my favorite Tales characters in it. I really loved Mila, and I loved Alvin as well. But, on the whole, it doesn't... I don't think it overtakes Abyss as my favorite. But there are certain things I really enjoyed about it. How it really rewarded you for exploring the environments and things like that. But it's kind of interesting as well because you can play as Jude and Mila and get kind of different storyline perspectives. Because the two characters do split off every now and then. And Steven played as Jude when he went through it. I played as Mila. And it was kind of interesting to see how the storylines changed a little bit. But Tales of Xillia, definitely a worthy addition to the series. And hopefully, I think it was a big success. So hopefully Namco will keep bringing out Tales games over here. Because I think it's definitely a series that's growing in popularity. I think people are becoming more aware of it. Whereas, back in the PS2 days, it was pretty obscure. Okay, the next game is a new game as well, and I haven't got through it all the way yet, and I don't think it would overtake the remaining games on this list, because when you boil down to it, it's a great game, but I feel like I've played it before, and that game is Ys Memory of Celceta. And the reason why I say that, and yes, I did get the big box set, so don't worry about that. The reason why I say that is it feels a lot like E7. A lot like E7. And that is not a bad thing. Let me just point that out. That is not a bad thing. That's a great thing. But that sort of sense of wow and wonder and like, holy crap, this is an amazing game, is not quite there. It's an amazing Ys game, and I love going through it and just exploring another world of Ys. Kind of a burp thing going on there. But at the same time, it didn't, like all the other games on this list just kind of smacked me in the face with a wow factor that this one hasn't done quite yet. And maybe if I play it to completion, when I play it to completion, it might have jumped higher on the list than where it's at now. But I don't think so, because most of these games that are on the remainder of the list really did something special for me. But that being said, it's still a great action RPG, and just kind of looking at my Vita collection, I would say it's probably, if not the killer app for it, which kind of sounds weird. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but it's definitely one of the reasons to own a Vita. So, Ys, Memories of Celceta, brought to us again by Xseed. And the next two games, I can almost combine them, because they're really, I don't want to say they're the same game, but they're so similar. It's just one thing pushes out edges past the other one. But the next game is Etrian Odyssey 4 Legends of the Titan. And then the game following that, higher on the list, will be Untold Millennium Girl. And these really have exploded my love of the first-person dungeon crawler. And while I played Etrian Odyssey 4 first, and really enjoyed my time with it. It was really Millennium Girl that pushed it forward with the addition of an actual storyline to the game. Because these games have kind of very minimal storylines, and they don't really have that narrative push that this game had. So I'm kind of hoping they do go back and do Etrian Odyssey 2 as an Untold, and maybe remake 3, even though I have all the ones on the DS. I'm really getting into the first-person dungeon crawler thing, and even sort of, I don't want to say lesser first-person dungeon crawlers, but just kind of less polished ones. Like, I played Class of Heroes 1, and I have Class of Heroes 2. I have the physical copy, and then I have it on my Vita as well, but I haven't put enough time into it to even put it on this list. Because I want to play the first one first. And even with like the lesser first-person dungeon crawlers, I'm having just an awesome time exploring these dungeons. But if you're looking to get into this style of game, I would highly suggest get Untold Millennium Girl, because it's just so welcoming to new players. And then get 4, and then if you want to go back to the older ones, do that. But yeah, ending this video are 2 awesome games for the 3DS. And if you're into RPGs at all, I would say give Untold Millennium Girl a shot, just to see if the genre is for you. Because when you start to get into it, you really start to get into it. Okay, I think this video is a lot shorter than the last one, but I want to save the top 5 for its own special video. So I'm going to end this one here, and we'll come back with the top 5 games, my top 5 games of 2013. So I'll see you then.